Hey guys, welcome to this episode of On Another Line. You guys know that have been following my channel for a while that I'm big into pouring my own baits or not really baits, but my own jig heads, using do-it molds. But I've wanted for a while now to be able to pour my own soft plastics. So right now, I'm going to start a series here on the channel that's going to be, I'm just going to title it, Trying to Make the Perfect Stick Bait. And the reason I say that is because I want to start this series out by saying, first and foremost, I've poured a lot of jig heads in my day. I do a lot of different things like shaky heads. I do now have a wacky rig head that goes right along with the stick bait mold that I'm looking at, or the Senko mold. I've probably got, 3, 6, 9, 12. I've probably got 20 do-it molds, I would say, that I've accrued over the years, as well as partnering with Do-It Mold this year. I've been able to pick up a few more of those here and there, and I enjoy pouring my own baits and making my own stuff because there's an added feeling of success if you catch a fish on something that you've created. And I want to take that a step further and making my own soft plastic baits. And the reason I want to do that is the fact that I use so many stick baits or Senko style baits throughout the year that it gets very expensive to keep buying them. My favorite Senko or stick bait of all time right now is a 4-inch Yum Dinger in Watermelon Red Flake. So my attempt here is to try to recreate that same bait as close as I can. It's not going to be perfect, obviously, but the best thing I want to tell you about this is that I'm a complete amateur, right? So all the stuff I'm going to show you today in this video can be purchased through Do-It Molds. You can buy all this as a kit, so you pretty much have everything you need to get started. One of the things that you don't have here is a microwave. Definitely need a microwave. You're going to need a couple of things. Some type of Pyrex jar. This is not made by Pyrex cup. This is not made by Pyrex. This is Anchor, Hocking. Same principle. Picked this up at Walmart. I got 2 of them for less than $6 collectively. There were 3 something. And you need something to stir the plastisol with. And everybody that I watch on YouTube, it seems to be their go-to is a butter knife, which is probably because it's on hand and it's easy to grab. I picked a couple up brand new the other day from Walmart. You can see I still have tags on them. I didn't rob the kitchen for them. But I'm a very amateur, bait maker when it comes to the different types of soft plastics and stuff. So this series is going to be dedicated to those of you out there that may be in the same boat I am, and that is wanting to get into soft plastic making, but maybe you don't know where to start. So let's look at the kit that that I have from Do-It Molds. And again, you can buy this thing. I think it's less. It's about $200 for what you see here, minus the mold. The mold's a little more expensive. But we're going to talk about getting into it. I'm going to actually mold my very first soft plastics in this video today, giving you the knowledge that I've gained by looking at YouTube, checking out forums and things, again, as a complete novice and amateur pouring these baits from the very first get-go. So let's look at the kit that I have from Do-It Molds, and then we'll get into actually either sink or swim, and that is either pass or fail. We're either going to do or do not, as Yoda would say. So let's check out the kit. So you get a gallon of, this is crystal clear, soft plastisol. Notice here it says mix thoroughly. Shows a guy shaking it there. We're going to talk about that in just a second. You get some bags. I think there's 25 bait bags here. You're going to get a plastisol softener, 5.5 ounces of that. Plastisol stabilizer, 5.5 ounces of that. 5.5 ounces of worm oil. You put that in the bag so they don't stick together. Now, these 4 colors right here are something that I've chosen. There's a ton of different colors you guys can choose, but this is colorant. This is X2. I have watermelon green here. Let's see how many ounces this is. It doesn't say. It's got to be more than 5.5 ounces, probably 6 ounces or so. I have pumpkin seed. I have green pumpkin green. Fish any color you want to, Bubby, as long as it's green pumpkin. And then I have green pumpkin brown. You get your choice of 4 different colors and sizes of glitter. I'll have to link in the bio what I actually got. Definitely got red, gold. I have holographic silver, and I'm thinking I got black. I'm not sure. Have to dig into that in just a second. You get your choice of 4 different glitters. There's 3 different sizes of them and a plethora of colors. You're going to get the medium injector, which is a 4-ounce single injector. You get an extra nozzle for this injector. You're going to get a pair of warm gloves so you can handle this stuff. It does get really hot. And one of the things you're definitely going to need is a mold. And I chose to go with, again, sorry, it went out of frame there. This is a on their stuff. It is a 4-inch Senko mold, GYS 4004. Obviously, again, from Do It. This on their website is basically it's marketed as a Yamamoto copy, which I'm not sure how they can do that, but it does look good. It does have really cool, I'm sure you guys can see that there, Do It machined into the bait. So again, one of the things that you're definitely going to need looking at forms and stuff, I have a couple here, just a cheap set of couple clamps. So these couple of clamps that you have here, what happens here is that when you inject the plastisol into here, you're going to have almost like a hydraulic pressure that's wanting to force these things apart because of the the pressure that's being forced in here, not only with air being released and the plastisol expanding as you press down. So what happens is that you get a couple clamps here and clamp these things in a couple locations, just like I'm doing here. And again, these are cheap clamps. I'm probably going to buy some a little bit better clamps just to make sure that's holding enough pressure there. But clamp these things down so that these things don't spread apart on you when you're actually injecting the mold. So obviously this thing has to be able to set down on its on its bottom here so I can inject this stuff. So again, back to the plastisol where it shows the guy shaking it up there. On the label here it says to mix thoroughly before every use, and it shows the guy shaking the mortal heck out of this thing. Everything that I read online tells you not to shake it. It actually tells you to actually take a stir stick or something that's clean and stir that thing as much as you can, because shaking it does mix it very thoroughly. But one thing that it also does is it introduces bubbles into the plastisol, as well as it introduces micro bubbles, stuff that you can't see, and that's going to change whether your bait is a success or a failure. So I've already stirred this up with a stir stick, got it all. Make sure you get at the very bottom of the thing. But according to, apparently, it is okay to shake this stuff because they wouldn't have put it on the label if not. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take our Pyrex cup right here. We're going to fill this up with 1 cup of plastisol just to get started with, just so I don't waste a bunch of stuff. Fill it up to 8 ounces. We're going to put it in the microwave that I told you guys a second ago. This is just an old microwave that I had. It was too big for our kitchen. We did a kitchen remodel. Ended up buying a smaller one. This is a big, giant, like 1300 watt. You don't need anything that big. Again, this was just something huge that we had laying around that I kept because I knew eventually I was going to make my own plastics. So again, what we're going to do here, again, pour 8 ounces or 1 cup of plastisol in here. We're going to put it in this microwave. Again, that's just a junk microwave. You could go out and buy one. My recommendation is check your local Facebook marketplace and things. I'm sure there's people everywhere. If you're on Facebook, I guarantee if you make a post on there saying, hey, I'm looking for an old used microwave, there will probably be 50 posts on your or comments on your post. So 8 ounces of plastisol into the microwave for 1 minute. When we bring it out, check the consistency of it. What should happen is that when the plastisol is ready to be injected, it should be a clear syrup-like consistency. So what we're going to do, we're going to put 8 ounces in here. We're going to bring it out. We're going to put colorant in it. We're going to put our, whatever color glitter that I put in it this time, which is probably going to be red. I'm going to try to make a green pumpkin red flake, just like I was talking about, like that Yum Dinger. But 8 ounces, 1 minute, bring it out, put some colorant in it, and then some glitter. Check it out. Put it back in for about another 30 seconds. At that point, it should be ready to inject, and we're going to inject our very first Senkos here on another line. So, is it going to work? Who knows? Let's try it out. Eight ounces of plastisol later. Again, guys, this is a 1300 watt microwave. Definitely not going to need one this powerful, as powerful as that. But You know, again, just an old thing. So I'm going to put in 1 minute. I apologize if it's loud in here. I have my exhaust fan running. So after a minute, it's still milky, which is not obviously what we want. We're going to give this thing a gentle stir here. Again, we want to make sure we're not introducing as many bubbles as possible. Just going to give this thing a quick stir. Again, let the plastisol come off of the knife. Back in, I'm going to do another 30 seconds just to test it out. Again, we're looking for that crystal clear syrup-like consistency. That's when the plastisol and the resin is actually, you know, it's having a chemical reaction. Check it out. Still very milky here. Is it possible that my microwave is junked? Let's hope not. Nope, we're getting heat. It's just not quite enough. So that's about 1.5 minutes. It's on 10 power, so let's do another 45 seconds to start it. Again, this is all learning experience, guys. You're going to have to figure out how much heat your microwave produces. You know, again, so this is something that you're going to learn over time. And right now I'm about 2 minutes and 15 seconds in, and my plastisol is not clear like it should be. So again, that's the differentiation between my type of microwave and, you know, this thing's fairly old, so maybe it's going to work a little longer. Getting some heat now. I'm getting some color changes here in the plastisol. You can see that it's changing. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's got a, you know, feels like it's getting a little thicker. Again, still not as clear as it should be. So I'm going to give it a quick stir here. Back in the microwave, another 30 seconds. Yeah, we don't want to overcook it, guys. You can burn this stuff, and that is no bueno. Again, got the old fire red. This is 0.15 hex. There's a lot of it in here. This looks to be like 2 ounces, I think, is what's here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up just to make sure that we're ready. I have a 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon here. You can see the glitter that's here. I don't want to dump it over too much. That is really cool looking. Again, guys, we're learning here. So those of you guys that have been building baits longer than I have, okay, now we're getting somewhere. It's not near as clear as it should be. Making sure that I scrape the sides here. We are definitely getting warm, so I'd say another 30 to 45 seconds. This will be nice and clear. Right now, I can tell you it's too thick, but it's getting very close to being where we need it to be. Again, we're gonna put it in here, get it all nice and clear. We're gonna put our glitter and our colorant, and then back in. I'm gonna do another 45 seconds here. So it's gonna, apparently my microwave takes quite a while. All right, let's see where we're at. Got that syrup-like consistency, about not too bad there. I'm gonna go ahead and add my colorant to this and my my glitter. Again, it's gonna need to go back into the microwave for just a second after we do that, because if we don't, you know, the colorant and the glitter is going to bring the temperature down a little bit. So I'm gonna start here by adding about 30 drops of the watermelon green colorant here. Again, you can see that it does have a, it comes with a metal cap on it, but they do come with these little applicator lids to them. So I'm going to try my best to add around 30 drops to this plastic, just to give me you know, a recipe to go by. Alright, so there's that. Give that thing a stir, see what it looks like. Maybe too much. It's already starting to cool down too much, I can tell you that. I can also tell you that 30 drops was way too much of this colorant. So again, trial and error here, ladies and gents. Let's go back in to the microwave for another 30 seconds. Again, that is way too green, but sure I'm scraping the sides here, getting all that plastisol down in there. It'll remelt if it's in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my glitter. Again, I'm gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of the red glitter. Give that a good stir. Well, here we go, ladies and gents. I don't know if it's quite hot enough yet, ladies and gents, but let's try her. Pull it out. Make sure we top that sprue off. So again, the reason you want to top that sprue hole off right there is you can see that's already sucked in there a little bit. What happens is when the plastisol solidifies, it actually shrinks up a little bit. So you want to make sure that you fill that sprue up there with some extra plastisol while it's molten, and that'll suck it down there and keep from it actually having a spot that's that has air or something in it. So I'm going to give it a second here, and once it cools off a little bit, I'm going to demold it and show you guys my very first Senko stick bait made with a Do It mold and some, the kit from Do It. Which again, I want you guys to understand is I am an absolute amateur when it comes to this stuff. I'm sure you're watching this, people that are watching this are like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing that. I've been making baits for years. Again, I'm learning. I just want to show you guys that it is possible for somebody that's never done this in their life to do some research and actually make this work. So let's give it a second for this thing to actually cool off. I'm going to show you what they look like. Alright, so the first batch was a failure. You can see that flashing on the edge of those baits. That is because my clamps are not strong enough to hold that together. So I got a couple more clamps over here. I'm going to get bigger clamps, put that on there. Cool thing about this is, guys, is that I could take this, put it right back in the cup that I was just molding them in, remold them back in there, and reshoot it, which is going to be cool. I do love the collar and the flake that's in there. I think that's a really good collar, actually. It's a little darker than I wanted, but we'll be okay doing that. So I'm going to put this back in the cup, reheat it up, grab another clamp, and then reshoot these things. Check out attempt number 2. Well, this is heating up again. Brought out the big gun. This big giant clamp is all I got right now. But again, the reason the first one failed is because this mold opened up. Again, there's some hydraulic pressure in there that's actually forcing that thing apart, which takes a lot more force to hold it together than you think. So I got this big giant rusty clamp here, and we're going to try her again. This plastisol is much hotter than it was a second ago. I don't think I had it hot enough to start with. This is much more liquid than it was before. So again, it does take a little bit of time extra to get this thing solidified or liquefied as it needs to be. Apologize for that big loud bang there. So while this thing is super hot, let's try her again. One thing I did notice is that this tip comes off, obviously we're cleaning, so I want to make sure that I'm holding on to that when I'm actually going to inject this. So let's get the mold up here where you guys can see it. Let's try this again. I see a lot of people pouring their plastisol into the injector, and I'm sure there's something to that. So that's something that I'll have to get into, figuring out why that is. Probably just easier, probably a lot quicker. So there's that. Attempt number 2. Hold the tip, guys, when you're, evacuating the rest of the plastisol. Again, this thing does get hot. That's why you have the gloves. I don't have one on this hand, just have some dexterity. I'm going to put this back in the microwave just to keep it warm. Give this thing a second. We'll demold it, see what it looks like. So you can tell I filled that up and it's sucked way down in there. Again, this stuff does shrink when it cools down, so make sure you put some liquid plastisol there on top of it, so it actually will, when it draws down in there, when it shrinks up, it actually won't cause air bubbles and stuff. Alright, so this thing has cooled down a little bit. Let's check out pour number 2. Again, you guys are going to see this the first time I do. Ha ha ha. Yeah, boy, you can't see it. The lighting's terrible, but I'll show you guys. Molded perfectly. And amazing. So we're going to cut this sprue off. Best thing to do, I guess, I've seen online is that people have a like a bucket of water here. It doesn't have to be ice water, just need to be water that's cooler than this. So you pull the sprue off, throw the sprue back in your melting pot, if you will, and then you throw these in that so it'll actually will cool off so you can actually put them in the bags. So let's go get rid of this sprue. Let's go let's go pour some more. So, guys, this is why I enjoy making my own baits, because, again, you guys are seeing this the very first time I've ever done this in my life, and just, looking at some things online and creating baits that I'm going to use, on the water. And again, the collar is, I put too much colorant in it. I'll show you guys some pictures over here, or some video over here under the light. I put too much colorant in it. It's really, really, really green, which is okay. It's just not what I wanted. But again, I'm learning. So 30 drops of the colorant from Do It is way too much. So I'm gonna probably split that in half next time. But again, pretty daggone cool, guys. I am super pumped up. So I'm gonna pour some more, give you guys my thoughts. Golly, guys, I'm super impressed with the ease of this stuff. Again, I'll show you guys some better pictures and better lighting. You can't really tell, but man, these things are coming out phenomenal. So I've poured 16 so far, and there's still looks like half a cup left. So about 4 ounces, well, a little less than 4 ounces. So that means that I should be able to pour about 24 maybe of the Senkos, the 4-inch Senkos, out of 1 cup of plastisol. I did use fire red. I'm going to show you guys some better video of it over here in my dirty garage, so please look over that. I'm trying to get this set up so I can actually make baits in here full time, well, not full time, but I can do a lot better of a job than I'm doing now. But my honest opinion here, guys, is that from the very first use of this thing, again, this is the very first time I've used this ever in my life. I've never been around anybody pouring baits like this or injecting baits. I've never done it. I've looked online, trying to do this stuff, trying to figure out how it's done. And I wanted to show you this video series as we're going on, is I'm going to try to better understand the colorants. And again, this is something that's like a recipe, guys. You're going to basically keep a recipe book. Again, I put 30 drops of the watermelon green, and I guess the X2 means that it's double as strong. So maybe I'll do 15 this time. And again, I'll show you guys some better lighting of it, but I like the density of the plastic is really good. I like that. 4-inch Senko, again, it's a lot darker than I wanted. The red flake shows up really well. I like it a lot. Again, I'm going to put it in a bag with some of the worm oil on there. Going forward on the channel, I'm actually working with JB's Fish Sauce, and they're going to send me some JB's Fish Sauce worm oil in the pinch of garlic. So you already know I'm going to have some Senkos with my signature pinch of garlic blend from JB's Fish Sauce. But for right now, we're going to put some worm oil on there in a bag. And, guys, I can't say enough about how easy this was. Again, it's literally, as long as you are following the directions of people online and through Do It and all that stuff. 1, take precautions. Obviously, you're dealing with molten plastic. You definitely want to make sure you're wearing gloves, because if you get burnt by this stuff, it's just going to continue to burn you, because it's going to, you know, stick to your skin. Also, you know, be sure you're in a ventilated area. You guys are probably still hearing my my exhaust fan is running. But there's 4 more. Again, that makes a total of 20 that I've poured right now out of, no, I'm sorry, 16. The next one will be 20. So I think I can get maybe 24 out of a cup of plastisol, which is pretty cool, guys. When you think about, you know, the time and effort that I've got into it, it actually works really well, and it's very cost effective. So I'm going to pour the rest of these up, guys. I'm going to show you some better footage of it, better quality photographs and things of them. But in my opinion, the very first episode of, you know, the search for the perfect Senko Total Amateur Edition has been a success. It's worked out really well. Again, the kit is available from Do It Mold. I'll drop it down in the link below. Again, they are affiliated in my channel, but I'm not getting paid for you guys to put that on there. I'm just going to so you guys don't have to search for it. I'll link it below so you guys can check it out. But this is something that's super fun for me. I can see myself getting more and more molds as it goes on, and potentially making my own custom molds, guys, because you guys know that I'm a 3D engineer. I deal with guitar building and stuff on a daily basis with my students at school, so this 3D design of this mold is something that I can knock out in no time. Finding somebody with a CNC that'll knock this thing out, that might be another story, but I think that may be coming soon too. So I might be able to partner with Hydraulic Services Supply over in Ashland and see if they'll possibly mill out a mold. But so far, guys, I'll show you better pictures of it as we go on. Super simplistic process. Couldn't be easier. So easy that Owner of the Line could do it here. You know, Tyler from Owner of the Line could do it, so you know it's simplistic. But I'm going to finish pouring what I got here. Show you the finished product. Again, links in the description below if you want to get your hands on this kit. And again, you can set this thing up in it however you want. But in my opinion, I believe that if you're wanting to get into soft plastic bait making for less than about 300 bucks, probably less than that, I'm not sure what it would be. There's a smaller kit, but this is like an all-inclusive thing except for the mold. Mold's the most expensive thing, guys, for sure. So think about that. I had 1 cup of this, 8 ounces of this, made 24, 2 dozen Senkos. So I would have paid $10+ for that in the store. So saved myself little by little, and I'm having fun doing it. You can, guys, here's some finished product pictures and video of it. Alright, guys, so all in all, I got 28 4-inch Senkos out of 1 cup or 8 ounces of plastisol from Do It. Again, so this is super simplistic to make and to do. Got a couple drops of worm oil in here. These things are soaking up the worm oil like crazy, so I'm going to put a few more drops on there. But I hope you guys can see this. You know, the lighting's not so great in here, but you can see the red flake in it really, really well. Again, it's so dark. It's not the color that I wanted, but that's the cool thing about making your own baits, is that, you know, live and learn. Again, I put way too much colorant in there. I put 30. This stuff is a lot thicker than most of the colorant that I see online, so it's more of a paste, or like a, you know, it's a thick motor oil consistency, not like an actual drop. So I'm going to cut that back to maybe even a third or a quarter of that. You know, it's hard to say what I'll do, but for the time and effort that I have into learning how to make these things, and the time that you would, or the money that you would have invested, if this is something that interests you, making your own soft plastics in your home or in your garage like I have here, it's fairly inexpensive to get, you know, in the game, guys. The mold is really the most expensive part, and it's just like any other thing. If you're pouring lead baits or whatever, the mold is fairly expensive, but once you buy it, you know, you only have to cry once, right? If you buy quality stuff, you cry one time, and that is when you buy it. But again, these bags that come with this kit are really, really cool. You could easily slap your label on here and sell these things. Do It actually, you know, recommends that. They want you to make money off this. You are 100% able to actually go out and actually sell your baits that you make. These are yours. You can make them. You can sell them. Whatever. That's what's so cool about Do It. But again, my honest opinion about creating baits, guys, like this soft plastic baits, is that I will definitely continue doing this. It's so much fun. Really easy. Again, I put several drops of worm oil in there, and this stuff is soaking that worm oil up a lot, so they're getting sticky. I need to put more worm oil in there. But 8 ounces of plastisol and a little bit of time, comes out with something I know I'm going to catch a fish on, and that is super, super awesome. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video as much as I have enjoyed bringing it to you. If you have any comments, drop them below, and please consider hitting that subscribe button, because I'm driving for 4,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I am well on pace thanks to you guys out there, but I appreciate it. If you guys can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.